Hi everyone, welcome to this week's video. We're in the greenhouse today. It is rather wet outside. It's the 20th of May and the temperature has dropped again today. I was lucky this morning. I managed to get some of my plants out into the garden before it started to really pour down really heavily. Now I'm in the greenhouse this afternoon. I've been potting up some Amaranthus seedlings and I've been starting off some more seeds on the propagating bench. And it is a time of transition really. I have got a lot of my hardy annuals now planted out in the garden and the greenhouse is now getting full up of the tender ones that I've started off on the propagator, potted up and moved on out here to the greenhouse. So I'll be able to show you that in a few minutes. As well as that in the greenhouse, we've got things like dahlias, we've got our sweet peas. I've had the first few flowers of the sweet peas, which is the earliest I've ever had. Not enough to make a bunch yet, but just one or two to make some of my jam jar arrangements smell nice. And hopefully some more will come in the future. So let's have a look. So here we've got some cosmos that's growing in the greenhouse that I've started from seed. And these will need pinched out in a few weeks' time to make for bushier plants with more flowers. Over here we've got some Salvia, which is another hardy annual with nice blue flowers. And this is Pelagonium, which is a great filler for bouquets and arrangements. Here we've got some grasses, which I love to use in my arrangements. We've got some Brisa media and we've got some bunny hairstyle grass. Here's my larkspur I've been growing for a while and it makes great spikes in arrangements, and I'm going to plant this out soon in the next week. This is scabious, which comes in a range of colours from blues, whites, dark reds, and makes lovely flowers right up into the autumn. Here we've got Helichrysum, which makes a lovely flower when you dry it, and it's also really nice to go with dahlias and chrysanthemums and scabious and rudbeckia in the autumn time. And it's great, it'll keep flowering right up until those first frosts. Here we've got rudbeckia, which is a lovely yellow or orange flower that will keep going right through the autumn and look lovely then. Over here we've got some zinnias, and these are things that I haven't had very much success with in the past because they like hot weather, but we're trying again this year. This is Amaranthus, which I haven't grown for a couple of years, but I'm having a shot again now because it does really make a lovely addition to bouquets later in the summertime and into the autumn. Here we've got some snapdragons. I've already got some of these into the garden which are larger, and these are succession sowings, so I'll get flowers later on in the year. I grow a lot of perennials from seed as well, and this is Achillea pearl and Linaria and Aqualasia that you can see here, which I'll get planted out this year and flower next year for the first time. Here are my Ranunculus, which I have been growing in crates since January, and they are now starting to throw up some flowering stems for the first time, so we should get some nice flowers in the next couple of weeks. My Ranunculus outside that I've planted are only just starting to flower now as well because the weather has been so cold for so long that everything is a little bit behind this year. I've got chrysanthemums growing in the greenhouse too. These are from cuttings that I made in my hydropod. This is my first year growing sweet peas indoors, and I'm not sure really what to expect yet. I've had the first few flowers, but they've been slow to start, and they definitely got frost nip, which delayed the growth for a wee while during April. What will be interesting will be when the sweet peas start flowering outside and how much later they are than the indoor sweet peas, because that will tell me whether it's worth trying again with indoor sweet peas next year or whether just to stick to the outdoor ones because the time difference in flowering isn't that great. I love scented Pelagoniums. They smell absolutely delicious and really add to flower arrangements, and I love adding them to my jam jar posies. Some of the varieties I am growing include Attar of Roses, which I really do love the scent of. I will start using the foliage of these later in the summer once the plant has had a chance to grow a bit more robust and the foliage will stand up well in water in a vase. These are some of my Astrumerias. I grow Astrumerias outside in the flower patch, and I also grow some undercover as well. The ones in the flower patch are longer stem varieties, and they're only just starting to come through the soil now. And the ones indoors are shorter stem varieties, but they're getting on really well. I've already had some flowers from some of them, and there are lots more buds appearing. They're great undercover because they're protected from any harsh weather we get, any wind or rain. At this time of year, the greenhouse is really starting to fill up with lots of dahlias which are potted on, and they're doing really well. We've got an awful lot that have sprouted now. We had a good look at these in last week's video and how to pinch them out to make bushier, stronger plants. So please do have a look at this video if you would like your dahlias to get more flowers on them this year. We've had another few coming through this week, which has been great, that hadn't sprouted last week, so they're still coming on. And I'm just keeping an eye on them, keeping them nice and watered. And next week I will start to harden them off, get them used to the outside before I begin planting out in June. The last thing I want to show you today was that I'm still seed sowing. So at the moment I am sowing more hardy annual seeds and tender annual seeds so that I get a succession of flowers right through the summer and into the autumn. And I'm also starting to sow some biennial seeds as well for flowers next year. And I've got lots of little seedlings that need to get pricked out and potted on. These are scabious. And I've also got some Amaranthus ones here which are really growing well and will need to be pricked out and potted on very soon. And I've also got some Magus ones here which I'm going to prick out and pot on as well. And these are all from later sowings that I did, so these were all done throughout April, and they will be growing on in the greenhouse for a wee while before being hardened off and planted out in the flower patch as well. Thanks for watching today. It's been great to be able to show you around the greenhouse. The plan for next week is I've got a last batch of sweet peas that I'm going to plant out in the garden, so hopefully I'll be able to do a video on this and show you how I do that here. I'm going to keep planting out the last of the hardy annuals that I've got. Keep on seed sowing because that's still going on every few weeks, and start to get those biennial seeds sown for next year's flowers. And it's also clearing away and deheading all the spring bulbs that have finished flowering now so that the energy can be put back into the bulbs and the roots in the ground for next year's flowers.